Hey everybody out there, Chris and Mike here, and welcome back to another recap!
Yep.
This time we're talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles recap. And guys, again, the recaps are going to be on hold, or we're going to be shelving the recaps for now, and we'll see if they come back in October. We're going to be shelving them because we're doing the Street Fighter Summer event. Yep. So this is the last episode of the recap for a while. All the Turtle books, as well as any of the other books we do in any of the other recaps, will be back in the indie reviews starting this month, because these books are late. These are the Turtle books that came out the month of June 2014. We are now in July, and now is when we have to get this out because the next issue of Turtles came out this month. And anyway, in this pile though is my book of the month for the month of June. So let's start with this book, since Michael no longer has any color classics, at least for now. Maybe they'll make more. I doubt it, but there's always a hope. But there is a new miniseries out, and I read it too. So.
And that is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Turtles in Time, issue number 1.
Now, my first issue with this book is.
Go ahead.
Because I want to get it before you start talking about the book. When you open the book to the first page, there's an editor's note. Did you see the editor's note? Right here? The story so far?
No, I did not read that.
Aha. I happened to come across it before I started reading this. The editor's note says that it tells you what happened already, even though the book didn't come out yet. The Turtles recently met a good-natured interdimensional time traveler named Renette. Don't remember that story? Well, it happened in TMNT Annual 2014. But due to time malfunction, that book isn't out yet. So basically, the first part of the story, the true beginning of Turtles in Time, isn't out yet. But the first issue is.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, apparently the writers apologize. They say, all you need to know is that adventure seemingly, time malfunction is not usual when it comes to Renette, as the Turtles have discovered. All you need to know is that adventure seemingly ended with the Turtles safe back at home. Alas, when it comes to Renette, nothing is ever quite that easy. So apparently they get thrown through time and then they end up back safely at home. But now this is the story about what happened to them, but we don't have the first part, so we don't know how they ended up in the prehistoric times.
Which is why I was about to say was a disappointment.
Yeah.
I mean, the artwork was pretty good.
It reminded me of the animated adventures.
But I'm looking at the story and I'm like, how are we getting here? Like, what happened? You know, I mean, maybe it relates to like the video game Turtles in Time, because we have played the video game and we know how they got thrown with all the Shredder and everything.
I think that's
but
why a lot of people.
Renette now.
Yeah, I think a lot of people jumped at this book because they heard Turtles in Time. And they're like, oh my God, this is like gonna be like the video game, and it's not, guys.
It's not.
Unfortunately, it's not. It starts off with them fighting the Krangs, who are, remember, they went back in time, and the Krangs have been visiting Earth since the dawn of life on Earth.
Right. So
it's the Dino era, but the Krangs are there, and they're studying, and they come across the Turtles. A huge fight breaks out. They take Raphael hostage.
Well, who didn't see that?
And the Turtles now have to save Raph. The middle of the book. Oh, guess what? Renee shows up. And did you notice her staff looks just like the staff from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the third movie?
Yeah, I was thinking that actually.
She promises that she can get them out of there. Then her translator starts breaking. She's like, just stay here. I'll be back soon. And everything will be cool beans. So the Turtles then race to save Raph. They do save Raph. Raph actually was planning to beat up the Krangs himself with his little buddy, this little dinosaur that he was in a cage with. I think he called him Spike. Oh no, he called him Pepperoni.
Pepperoni, yeah.
And then the Turtles basically escape, long story short, because the soldiers of the Krang army show up. And then out of nowhere, they're sitting in a cave eating prehistoric pizza, and they get shot through time again. However, the last page, for those of you that read the Krang War, the book that came before this, the Utrum War, basically this is where they figure out they're going to use Triceratops and evolve them to be their soldiers, basically. But now they have knowledge of the turtles somehow. And then you get a couple of sketches at the end of the book. You can go ahead and give your
I don't
thoughts
know,
on
like,
the book.
I read
you go
this
first.
book. I was like, first, like how'd they get here and where's the story going to go? Like, is it going to make sense? And, you know, when Renette came in, I mean, good thing you showed that story thing so far, because I was really excited about the book. Like, I was just saying, you know, but then you pointed out now, you know.
I was overexcited, I think, for the book. I was ready for it. You know, Turtles never disappointed me.
It never did
So
for me either.
I jumped into this book with high expectations. Actually, Mike Spider Slayer wrote me and said he had read Turtles in Time, and he didn't like it. And Mike and me have been kind of on the same level where we like everything the Turtles have been putting out. I come to read the book, because when Mike said that, I decided to read the book early, and I didn't like the book. Because, A, we didn't get the annual yet.
Because it's not even out yet. How could you make a book come out that's not even out?
And B, it was an okay story at best.
I don't know.
Which I'm very disgusted
I
because
want to get the annual now to see how this happens.
Well, yeah, of course I will be, but I'm kind of disappointed because I was expecting better, especially with the title Turtles in Time. You would think that, you know, you when you think Turtles in Time, you think the video game. You think you want something that like that happened,
and
you know,
but in a different way.
So I'm hoping the next issue picks up. I'm fairly disappointed with the first issue.
Same here. I mean, the best I can give it, just because of the artwork, would be at least
3.
an average read of 3. Yeah, I
would give it the 3 also, because A, we don't have a beginning. B, the story was average. C, the art was good.
There's still adventure.
So it
in
equals
everything,
3 stars.
3, yeah.
It's a star for each of those things. That's it. I can't. It's wrong to give this book any higher than 3 stars.
Right, because we don't know who, what, when, and the whole plot of how they got there. Because the book is not out.
I will say Dave Peterson's artwork for the cover is really nice.
Yes,
I love it.
I was gonna
and
point
I purposely
that out.
got Turtles in Time. Issue number 2 is coming out the second to last week of July. So I'm looking forward to part 2 and hoping that part 2 will be better. This is a 4-part miniseries, I believe. It's ending in August, and then the next miniseries, which I'm excited for, which he's excited for, which he'll be reviewing too, probably because the color classics still aren't going to be back. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles meet Ghostbusters.
Oh, I will definitely review
in the next miniseries.
That is just pumped up.
I'm highly looking forward to it, and the artist who is doing Ghostbusters is going to be doing the art in the book, and he draws a really good Turtles, and I love the way he draws the Ghostbusters. So it's a
even
win.
with the Ghostbusters also being canceled and all that, they're in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
It's a win-win situation.
Exactly.
All right, now we're in the main books, and we were lucky. The month of June, we got 2 Turtle books because we missed out on one in the previous month. Remember I told you there was no Turtle book one month? So we got 2 this month. So we're going to start with issue number 34, which I actually like that these 2 came out at the same time because they crossed a lot. Not crossed a lot, but they went one right after the other. So it's better that they both came out the same month instead of one gigantic book. But each one has 2 of the Turtles. This one is actually just Donatello. And Leonardo's in the background. This one has the other 2 Turtles, Mikey and Raph, with Leo in the background. So, this issue, Donatello goes with April to his friend Harold, and he wants to show him a few things that he has from Honeycutt's book. They bump into Casey and Angel, which Casey's still reeling from the previous issue with Hun. And Casey kind of wants to be alone to just think for a bit. But they offer Casey and Angel to go with them. Angel says yes. Casey's like, you know what? I need some time to clear my head. I need some more air. So I'm going to just go for a bit. You guys go and do what you got to do. So Casey leaves them. Angel tells April she'll fill her in on the way. They show up at Harold's, and for those of you that don't know who Harold is, read the TMNT micro series Donatello one-shot to get his introduction, and then since then he's played a really strong role in the actual series itself. I love Harold. He's an interesting character. He's a scientist, but he's a stuck-up scientist, and Donnie goes to him to have him help them build an interdimensional transporter, because Donnie wants to deal with the Technodrome. Now, in this issue, we have Leo talking with. Also, we get the introduction of Metalhead in this issue, who actually he gets his name from Angel. Angel's the one that gives him the name Metalhead.
Right.
But Leo, we go back to Leo and Splinter for for a page, and Leo says, you know, Donnie thinks this Technodrome is dangerous. We should be focusing on that. But Splinter believes the opposite. They shouldn't be focusing on the Technodrome. That Shredder is their main concern right now, and then after that to deal with the Technodrome, because Honeycutt said it's going to be years before the Technodrome is ready. Shredder could show up at any moment. So then we jump back to Donnie, who's kind of shocked at Harold because he's like, why? And then it connects back to the Donatello one-shot where he wants protection from anybody from StockGen because he's afraid that Baxter's going to come back and try to take him or take him hostage. Also, we get introduced to a suit, which plays a gigantic role later on in this book and then in the next book. So, of course, Harold being smarty smart, Angel says, I bet it doesn't even work. He turns on Metalhead, and after a couple of seconds, Metalhead kind of goes a little wonky, destroys the controller that Harold has, and he looks at April, and April, guess what, was an employee of StockGen, and he says, April O'Neil, interim StockGen, deadly threat, eliminate. So, Metalhead goes to destroy or kill April. Donnie tries to stop him, it doesn't work, but Angel has an idea. She breaks in, she has Metalhead break out the armor, and she jumps into the armor and fights Metalhead in the armor. And we get, guess who? Nobody. The character Nobody is, Angel becomes Nobody, who, she doesn't become a nobody. Her name in the suit is basically Nobody. And then we get what plays into the next issue, which is this previous scientist who worked for StockGen, where Splinter and the Turtles were, the genetic with the ooze. And you get to see old Hob and Slash showing up saying, I have a job for you, because she can't find a job. So, basically she's taken hostage. Now we get into this issue, which focuses on Mikey and Raphael. In this issue, Mikey and Raphael are going to check on old Hob and Slash. Mikey is still best friends with Slash, and of course Raphael doesn't trust old Hob for anything. Casey's in the cemetery, you know, over his mom's grave kind of thinking, and he gets confronted with Hun. And Hun says basically, you know, he's there to, I'm sorry, I drew a blank for a second there. He's there to basically beat the crap out of his son. Because he's no longer his father. He's more along the lines of Hun versus just Casey. He doesn't consider Casey his son anymore. So since Casey turned down his offer, he's going to rub Casey out himself. So Mikey and Raphael show up at Hob and Slash's place. And they found out that they have a hostage. Or a friend, as Slash says. The fight begins with Casey against Hun and his gang, and Raphael's kind of getting pissed off at Hob and Slash saying, oh, so you're taking, what do you call it, you're abducting people now. Basically, Hob wants to build an army of mutants to protect the mutants that are out there already. But he needs somebody who knows how to work the ooze in order to do that. He tried to evolve a pigeon on his own, and the pigeon's a retard. So they free the woman who's a scientist, because Hob says he's only holding her so she'll listen. Raph says, so, okay, so you're not negotiating then if you have it tied down, so he unties her, and basically she shows her Splinter's, long story short because there's a lot of dialogue, he shows her Splinter's blood and says, I have something that's going to have you want to stay. He shows her Splinter's blood, and all of a sudden she's interested. Jump back again to Casey and Hun, where Casey's about to get his butt handed to him, and guess who shows up? Angel, aka Nobody. She saves Casey, and they disappear. The scientist is talking about Slash and how dangerous he is because Splinter disappeared after the Foot tried to take the ooze and the turtles and everything. And because he disappeared, Slash didn't get the final piece to his the final ingredient to evolving him completely. So he was always kind of an animal. Now with Splinter's DNA, she says they're able to fix Slash, and Hobbs like, no way. There is no way you're doing it. You can make a brand new test subject. You're not touching Slash. Slash ends up grabbing the blood from her and injecting it into himself. He says, I want to help. Of course, it doesn't really help at first, and he goes completely ape crap for most of the issue. Then all of a sudden, the pain stops, everything clears, and he's now talking normally. It worked. Spoiler alert, Splinter's blood worked, and now Slash actually can talk and think clearly. And I agree with Raph. It ends with Raph saying, so where the heck do we go from here? And then the final page is Angel talking to Casey saying, don't go down a self-destructive path, you know. I know everything's going on with your dad and everything, but no matter what, you got to rise above it. She's like, I have, you can too.
Basically, he's telling him to move forward.
She basically says, remember, you're not alone. And then it goes back to Leo and Splinter. And guess what the next issue is going to be? Leo and Splinter. Because issue 34 focused only on Donnie and April. Issue number 35 focused only on Mikey and Raphael. And Casey was in both. And Angel was in both. So all that's left is Splinter and Leo. And there is the mention of the Rat King showing up in the next issue. So it's going to be an awesome next issue. Out of these two, though, I gotta say both of these are equal to my book of the month, because both of these basically intertwine with each other. This was an amazing 2 parts to the continuing adventures, the ongoing adventures of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm very disappointed in this book. Hopefully it'll pick up, but these two definitely won my pick of the weeks and month. With both of these books, with both weeks these books came out and the month itself. Really enjoyed it. Awesome character development. Awesome moving forward with old Hob wanting to start his army. You've got Donatello trying to figure out what's going on with the Technodrome and Krang. You got Leo and Splinter who want to focus on Shredder. And you got Mikey with his friend Slash, who now actually, you got a smart Slash now. So it's exactly what Raphael said. Where are the Turtle books going to go from here? And I'm excited to see where they go from here. I can't wait to see what happens next. Guys, if you're not reading the Turtles, this is my favorite series. The one book I can say every month when I get it, I can't wait to read it. It's awesome, spectacular. I can highly recommend this series to anybody. Maybe not all the mini-series, but I could recommend the ongoing series. It's a spectacular series. I highly recommend it. Guys, check out Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's an awesome, awesome, awesome series. And with that, that's it for this recap, guys. Don't forget to check out Comic Related, Comic Frontline, and Zone4Podcast.com. Together, we're your #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. Feel free to leave comments below, and we will answer your comments next Friday on the Weekly Comic Book Haul, because this Friday's Weekly Comic Book Haul was already filmed before we started filming these recaps. So, until next time, everybody, keep reading, keep collecting. We'll see you guys in the next review.
Hey, everybody.